whether you have defined them or not, you have these core pillars of these things that you do that keep you in motion, that keep you fluid. And this is really the infrastructure of your life, of how you operate. This is the infrastructure of your operating system, these core pillars, these things that you do that keep you going. And for example, when I think about for myself, I have 4 core things that I stick to that keep me in motion. And those things are sleep, diet, exercise, and meditation. Those 4 things are really my 4 core pillars to how I operate. My clarity, my ability to learn more about myself. And the thing is, each of those pillars complement the other thing. Like if I don't sleep, the whole thing comes crashing down. Okay? It's not going to work as well as it could. If I exercise and I don't eat properly, well that's gonna wreck the thing. So when each of these 4 pillars are dialed in, that's where I operate the best. That's where I have the most clarity. That's where I'm most effective. That's where I'm most fluent. So what I've learned is it's about going into each of these pillars and making the edits, running the experiments, going into each of your pillars in your life, making the edits, running the experiments, and seeing what works. And what I've learned is you can go a long time where you don't see much of a change, but then there's one edit that you make that upgrades the whole thing. And you can have these moments. It's kind of crazy. The one that I think of very recently, and I've had many of these moments where I make one edit and everything gets upgraded. I have this moment of clarity that I hadn't experienced before. The one that I think of recently is, like most people, if we're talking about diet, I've been eating carbs my whole life. And very recently, I removed those carbs out of my diet and really let my body fully transition out of eating carbs, okay? Moving away from eating carbs. And I felt this total upgrade in clarity for my operating system. And man, it's one of those moments where I remember why I'm doing this. And I remember how powerful it can be when you keep running the experiments, keep finding things that work for you. And yet, like I mentioned, you could go a long time without seeing any really feedback on your experiments, any hope. But one edit that you make tweaks the whole thing, and you have a moment of clarity and understanding and realization and intuition. And it's one of those things that words aren't the game. You know, words are so difficult to try and explain this. It's more of an experience. But I think it's important to define your core pillars, define the infrastructure of you, what that looks like, and try running those experiments. Going into my meditation, for example, thinking, okay, what can I change here? Or what is it that I'm actually trying to do with meditation? Or going into my diet, okay, what are some things that I could change here? What are some experiments that I could run to see what works better for me? Those edits are very necessary. And you can seriously level up like this if you give it enough time.